Hello there and welcome to another edition of Upping the Ante in association with Redzone.bet with myself, David Jennings, and Mr. Gavin Lynch. How are you, Gavin?
Good, Dave. How are you?
Not too bad. Well now, not too good after the weekend, Gavin. There's only one place to start, and that is the fighting fifth hurdle at Newcastle.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I spent all Saturday night eating humble pie.
You're going to have to find a new favourite horse, I think.
Yeah.
Bouverdere was amazing, wasn't he?
It was one of these races where it was hard to find positives out of the Sam Crow performance because he was just beaten by a better horse.
Yeah, no question. There was £9 between them beforehand in ratings, and there's more than £9 between them. And
viewers of Upping the Ante would know that this is what you expected to happen. You had, under no circumstances could you see Sam Crow winning that race.
I just don't think he's a two-miler at the very, very top level. I think he's a really good horse, as we saw in the Ballymore. He bolted up last year in that. But I think he needs softer ground, and I think he needs maybe 2.5, 3 miles. So
if you were Michael O'Leary, what would you do with Sam Crow right now?
I definitely wouldn't run him in champion hurdle anyway. I'd send him Novice Chasing, but they'll do that next season.
Okay.
He's still a young horse, so he has time, but it seems this year is not going to be his year, is it?
No, certainly not. And on that note, because we've got a couple of questions in on YouTube and Twitter, on that note, Aaron C says on YouTube, would Mellon or Lorena beat Sam Crow on his run in the fighting fifth? He's a stayer and one for the future. Bouverdere, Mellon and Lorena, I can't split them. What do you think, Gavin? So would Mellon or Lorena beat Sam Crow over 2 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah and yeah?
I'd say the two of them would. Lorena would anyway, and Bouverdere will win the champion hurdle. I wouldn't see... I think that the Bouverdere we saw in 2018 was not the proper Bouverdere. He's after winning his last 9. To me, especially if he wins the next champion hurdle, he has to be up there with the likes of Hurricane Fly and Istabrack and Faugheen and so on.
Case closed, Bouverdere wins the champion hurdle?
Yeah, now last year he wasn't at his best. Maybe he scoped bad afterwards, whatever, and he's had a wind up, but he's still the best hurdler around, isn't he? There's no question. So
we're a couple of months, 3.5 months away from the champion hurdle. Bouverdere 10-11, Lorena 9-2, Mellon 15-2, Sam Crow 8-1, Min 16-1, Super Sunday 16-1, and 22-1 bar. 10-11 back in odds on at this time of year. Is it stupid?
It probably is, because it's anti-post. But generally, what happens is around Christmas time, the bookies for the bigger races such as this one, they go non-run or no bet earlier than the other ones. So if you get say 4 to 5 at Christmas, just back him every week, and it's a way of saving, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But I mean, what price would you need to back Sam Crow at? You wouldn't back it at 20s, would you?
Would you know?
No, definitely not.
You're hitting me where it hurts, Gavin.
Yeah.
Moving swiftly on to the RSA Chase, which there's been big movement in the last couple of days. Santini is now your new favourite at 7-2, following a 8 out of 10 style performance maybe at Newbury. Delta Work winner of the Drimmore 7-1. Next destination is yet to appear, 9-1. Ballymore runner up, Black Op is 14-1. Top of the game, 16-1. Cockenmans 16-1 also. Santini, were you impressed?
You'd have to be. It was a grade 2, his first time over fences. The thing you have to remember with Santini is he's only been over hurdles 4 times. So he's still an inexperienced horse. So to do that in Newbury, he made one bad mistake down the back. He wasn't brilliant at the last, but to win that in the style he did, yeah, it's a very good performance. And Delta Work, I didn't think he'd have the gears to beat Laricheburg. I'm getting a bit sick of Delta Work because he nutted me last year when I backed Glenlow, and I backed Laricheburg yesterday, and he jumped brilliant all the way around. He travelled well. He made a mistake at the last. Davy lost an iron. The head-on is very interesting to watch, and he just quickened away. He was the best horse, so he has the gears, but he'll have a great chance in the RSA.
Okay, so would you back Santini at 7-2 or Delta Work at 7-1? Who is the better value?
If you had to choose one of them?
Yes.
Maybe Delta Work just because of the price, but the two of them have a great chance, yeah.
Okay.
Before last week, there was very little so far in the RSA, but now it's burst into life a little bit.
Yeah, it has indeed, yeah. And hopefully we'll see the likes of top of the game and next destination shortly. Moving on to the Royal Bond, Gavin. Quick grab him.
It just shows you how
brilliant Ruby Ride.
Yeah, brilliant. It makes up, I don't know what you'd say, but the Ruby Ride, he gave it in Navan. That was the opposite. It just shows you how important riding tactics and getting the right tactics are for a horse race.
That's why we love Ruby. That type of ride, it's poetry in motion.
Yeah, and it was brilliant. You knew kind of after the jump the first, if you backed anything else, that you were in a spot of bother. I'd say he traded very short after 2 or 3 hurdles. But the ride he gave it in Navan was poor, and he turned the form around by something like 11 lengths with the winner in Navan. So, yeah, no, he's a decent horse, but you couldn't fancy him really to win a Supreme, I don't think.
And finally, Apple's Jade. I think without question, the performance of the weekend. Possibly our best performance yet. She's only 6. Somebody has to check her birth cert because it's incredible that she's only 6.
She seems like she's around as long as you, and She's now won, I think, 8 Grade 1s and 3 Grade 2s, which is some achievement.
And to win a Grade 1 by 41 lengths and 20 lengths, like she's too wide margin Grade 1 wins.
You'd have to say that our 2 runs last spring at Cheltenham and Punchestown were wrong, because when you think that Midnight Tour finished ahead of it at Cheltenham and Augusta Gate finished ahead of it in Punchestown, like she turned in front of Punchestown and she ended up nearly drunk at the line. So she seems back to her best. The price of 2 to 1, 7 to 4 for the Mare's Hurdle seems more than fair.
Like when we get these dockets handed out when we're working at race meetings, most of them you see and you kind of go, that's ridiculous. I seen 2 to 1 and I said to myself, that is not actually bad value. And we have a question on that from, where is it now? Oh yeah, here we go. It's from Paul Baker, who says, another great show, guys. There we go. Bit of praise for you. Thanks for reading out my email on the show last week. So he obviously read out his email last week. Another question for you is, do you think Apple's Jade will beat Benny's Dadu in the Mare's Hurdle? I'm a big fan of Benny and think she has the beating of Apple's Jade again. Now this came 6 days ago, so just after last weekend's show. I don't know if Paul has changed his opinion of Apple's Jade, but can Apple's Jade 2-0 down against Benny Dadu? Can she turn that form around?
I was just going to say it's 2-0 to Benny at the moment, but Apple's Jade definitely deserves to be favourite, even though she's lost the 2 meetings with Benny. But you just get the impression that wasn't her at her best, and she does seem back to her best at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see at Christmas. You'll have Super Sunday against Apple's Jade, and last Christmas they served up a cracker in the 3 miler. So I'd be with Apple's Jade at the moment.
Up in the Ante viewers, 2 to 1. Apple's Jade for the OLBG Mare's Hurdle. Take it or leave it?
I'd take it, yeah. I think it's a good price.
You have a list of other horses who have enhanced their Cheltenham claims in the last week.
Yeah, just over the last 7 days. Say Champ did very well at Newbury the other day. Won off 139. Presumably it's gone up 8, 10, 11 pounds for that. So he's banging on the door maybe for a Ballymore. La Bagawa won very well on Friday in Newbury over 2.5. She was getting the £7. She won well. She might end up in a JLT. We also had, last Wednesday, we had Megley Khan in Punchestown. So there was 2 horses that we were thinking of maybe for the Arkle was Layler and Kalashnikov, who won today quite impressively again. But Megley Khan has to come into the mix. He can be a bit quirky, as we saw last Christmas in Leopardstown, but he jumped very, very well. He showed loads of scope to stand off his fence in Punchestown.
Paloma Blue, no?
He's probably better than him, I'd say.
Continue.
And then we've mentioned Santini. So there's just a number of horses that improved their chances maybe in the last week.
Okie dokes. And certainly this week we're going to see more clues. We're going to talk about this weekend's action later in the show. But now we've got some questions for Kane Calvin from our sponsors Redzone.bet. And the first of those for you, Kane, is, was there any interest in Apple's Jade for the OLBG Mare's Hurdle after Sunday's win? And what price could she potentially go off on the day?
Apple's Jade really was impressive in the Hatton's Grace on Sunday. We took a few bets on her immediately after the race at 3 to 1, but we've since cut her to 7 to 4. It would be a big surprise if she didn't turn up in the Mare's Hurdle, and her price is very much dependent on whether Lorena turns up or not.
And our second question to you, Kane, is what was the biggest bet Redzone.bet took on Bouvardere after his breathtaking win in the Fighting Fifth at Newcastle on Saturday? And is there anything to challenge him in the Champion Hurdle?
The performance at Newcastle definitely piqued the interest for punters, although we took more recreational bets than anything, the biggest from memory being about £500. He did look very good on Saturday though, but it'll be a very different contest to what he'll have at Cheltenham. He does look a strong favourite for that race, the Champion Hurdle, but he only beat Mellon by a neck last year, so it's by no means a certainty. Another to look out for is Lorena. I don't think anyone knows Willie Mullins' intentions for the race. I don't think he even knows his intentions, so that's one to keep an eye out for.
Okay, so Gavin, on to this weekend. These weekends leading up to Christmas, loads of Cheltenham clues everywhere you look, and the big one is the Tingle Creek on Saturday at Sandown. One of my favourite races of the year. It's a spectacle, it's brilliant to watch, and we have got the brilliant Altior back in action. Your thoughts on Altior? Is he the best horse in training?
Yeah, I think he definitely is. Like when you look at the only horse that's ever really beaten Bouvardere was Altior in the Supreme. His form everywhere you look stands up to the closest scrutiny. You'd imagine could even possibly be better over further than 2 miles, but he's just a fantastic horse. I think he'll definitely win the Tingle Creek on Saturday. He's got possibly So Royal, St. Calvados and Undersow to take on, but they're just going to set it up for him.
I'm probably going to regret this now, and knowing my luck, something will happen to him on Saturday, but holy God, 5 to 4, is that not an incredible price?
Yeah, it is. Again, it's just the thing that you have to wait a few months to get paid is the problem, and then if he gets injured, obviously you lose your money. So perhaps at Christmas when they go on another bet, maybe even money or 4 to 5, but sure, he's going to win this Saturday, I'd say. So I'd say he'll go odds on. You're
an anti-post punter. We all know you can't even find the amount of dockets you have before Cheltenham, okay? So is your theory to strike now at these prices, or as you say, maybe take a little less and wait for the non-runner no bet? There's punters out here that will want to be having anti-post bets. Is this type of price one that you just wait for the non-runner no bet?
I'd wait for the shorter ones. The only thing you might do just at the moment is you could stick in maybe a treble with Altior, Bouverdere and Apple's Jade possibly.
Yeah, you like that treble?
Well, you could do that treble. At least then, you're getting maybe worth your while if you did happen to come up. So.
Yeah, certainly. And Altior this weekend, he's probably going to be facing St. Calvin at Sco Royal in the Tingle Creek. Anything to fear from those two?
I don't think so. No, he's just too good. He's got too many gears, and especially, the Sandown Hill really suit him because he only gets going in the last furlong.
The horse that he works with at home? Brain Power.
Your pal.
Yeah, my pal Brain Power. And we're also likely to see Layler in the Henry VIII Novices Chase. He is one of, I think, 9 entries for the race, and you were blown away by Layler.
Yeah, she was brilliant. To win a graded chase, I suppose it's similar to Santini. To win a graded chase, first time over fences was very good. They gave him a rating of 160, which is actually similar to what Altior got first time over fences. So to get that rating, but then Kalashnikov won very well today. So it's turned into a good article already. I'd say.
It is, yeah. The 3 at the top of the market have been pretty flawless so far. And in Ireland on Sunday, we've got Punchestown and the John Durkin, where we're likely to see the anti-post Gold Cup favourite presenting Percy over 2.5 miles. Probably not his ideal trip, but do you think he's likely to make a winning reappearance? You'd
have to see what he's against. The entries aren't out yet, but it'll all be eyes will be on presenting Percy this weekend for sure. As you say, he's obviously won over 3 mile. He's won over 3.5 in Fairy House one day, so 2.5 could be a bit short. But then again, depends maybe what Willie Mullen's going to run the race. Yeah, and when you look at this market, a lot of them have blotted their copybooks already. Might Bite, Native River probably ran up to scratch for a first run. Size and John is yet to appear. Bell's Hill is waiting for softer ground. Is Road to Respect becoming the forgotten horse of the race? You certainly wouldn't quib with the price. 11 to 1 seems very, very fair. 4th in the race last year. He bolted up in the J and Wine Chase. He's going to run at Christmas. I've seen Noel Mead is on about possibly running in the Irish Gold Cup as well this year. That he felt last year there was too big of a gap from Christmas to Cheltenham. So, but yeah, you'd have to have a good each way chance. Now, before we get to the main part of the show, our anti-post Cheltenham bets, or rather your anti-post Cheltenham bets, we've got a few Twitter and YouTube questions. Well, this is not necessarily a question, but Mark Gilbride, 6 days ago, he says, DJ, you, Brain Power and Paloma Blue should be sent to the glue factory. Rhinestone will meet you there. Obviously a big fan. We've got Reggie Alive, who says, Gavin can't get a winner in any race, let alone Cheltenham. You answer that now, Gavin. You gave them 4 winners last year on the show. What more did they want? There would have been €200 in profit from your tips last year. Yeah, we'll see how this year goes. But I think punters have actually had a good run for the last month or two with the better ground. I think it helps punting, to be honest. Okay. Obviously, Gordon Elliott's going to have a winner at Cheltenham, but which horse do you think is the best bet if you backed it now, DJ, from John McDonough? Now, I did promise viewers, last week, if we have viewers who watched last week, I did promise you the name of a couple of bumper horses who are potentially very, very good. Now, one of them won on Sunday, Envoy Allen, who looked pretty special when winning the bumper at Fairy House. Yeah. And I think there might be one, we'll have to whisper very softly, but there might be one just as good as him, and his name is Fury Road. Okay. Don't tell anybody now. I won't. Fury Road is the name. That's between me and you. Fury Road. Put it in your notebook. Okay, moving on to the next question. Regarding Envoy Allen, this is from Paul Baker. I see he was entered at Fairy House on Saturday in the last race. He obviously won that race. Gavin, is he a potential champion bumper candidate now? Well, Gordon said that he's not going to run him at Cheltenham, so based on that, there seems to be a bit of a doubt about Malone Road possibly today, so that might have an influence on it because he's owned by the same people. But he looked like he was maybe more than once further than 2 miles, but he looked a fabulous horse, yeah. Okay, Aaron C wants to know, who will Ruby ride in the champion hurdle, Mellon or Lorena? It just depends how they get on in the interim. I'd imagine that I think Willie seems to prefer Lorena possibly at this stage based on what he has said, but let's see how they get on at Christmas. Yeah, absolutely. I'd imagine Lorena is better than Mellon though. So now it's time for the most important part of the show, the bit that everybody tunes in for, Gavin. It is your next anti-post Cheltenham fancy, and so far, unfortunately, this is the part where we have to mention our previous tips. And so far, one of your fancies is touch and go for the race. We learned this morning that Malone Road has picked up a knee injury and is going to be in a fitness race for the champion bumper. That would be a huge pity because he looks a fabulous horse. And you've backed him already for the champion bumper. I have. And your other tip was Larichburg? Larichburg, yeah, got beat yesterday by your horse, Dealt Work. it was disappointing to see him get beat. I just thought that he'd have too much gears, but he didn't. I could see him running well in the JLT, but it looks now like he's not going to be quick enough to win it. So.
Okay, so we could hopefully he gets there anyway, because he will.
And I tipped up Lawler as well, we'll see how he gets on Saturday in Sandown.
Yeah, absolutely. So number 4, the 4th Gavin Lynch selection on Up in the Ante for the 2019 Cheltenham Festival is
Tiger Roll, yeah.
Tiger Roll.
Similar to Sergio Garcia on the European Ryder Cup team, he has to be on your team.
It's taken a while to get onto the team. I thought he'd be your first selection.
Yeah.
Thought he'd be sent out first to the tee.
He's the fella that lead off in the Sunday singles. Tiger Roll, you were saying about the age of Apple's Jade earlier. It's hard to believe that Tiger Roll is only 8. That's amazing, isn't it? So it's obviously, we remember winning the Triumph Hurdle. It won the 4 miler in 2017. It won the cross country earlier this year in 2018. The ground was soft that day, which would normally be against the horse.
Because he was a big drifter on the day.
He was a big drifter on the day because of the ground, yeah. So he reappeared there about 3 weeks ago, and he was 4th to Josie's orders, beating 5.5 lengths, but he was given it £15. That was a handicap. So back in March, back on better ground, hopefully. Level weights. Keith Donoghue gets on very well with him. Gordon Ellie has already stated that more so than the Grand National, he thinks he'd be too high, maybe to win that again. That his main target is going to be this race, and then if that goes well, maybe he might go back to Aintree again. But like, if you go look at the Grand National from say the 4th last home, Tiger Roll absolutely cruised to the bend, cruised to 2 out, cruised to the last, went 6 lengths clear. But the Grand National is 4 mile too, so it does take a fair bit of getting for for any horse. So, and then he tied up on the running, but he's totally genuine. His jumping 3 weeks ago on the cross country fences was okay. It's not amazing, but it's good enough. But I just think if he shows up on the day, he's sure to go off 7-4, I'd say.
And if you think he is going to go off 7-4, we see here that he's 3-1 favourite with Redzone.bet. But of course, for Up in the Ante, there is enhancements, and Tiger Roll can be backed at 9-2. Gavin.
Yeah, just try and get as much on as you can, really.
Yeah, 9-2.
That's very fair, yeah.
Gavin Lynch thinks this could be a 7-4 shot on the day, but Up in the Ante's Redzone.bet enhancement is 9-2 Tiger Roll. Even I like the sound of that, Gavin.
Yeah, no, he'll beat them.
Yes, he will. Josie's orders, Auvergnat, Urgent, the Gregain. Dan Poley mightn't even, he's running the Beecher this weekend, he mightn't even show up. Clarkham, Galway Plate Winner, he's never ran over the cross country course either.
Yeah, no, you'll just see the same horses over and over again, but I think he'll win. Okay.
Gavin Lynch thinks Tiger Roll will win yet again at the Cheltenham Festival, and Up in the Ante viewers, you can get 9-2 Tiger Roll for
and I have one more anti-post one to tell you about is the Irish Jockeys title. At the moment, there's 3 of them way clear of the rest. Rachel Blackmore is having a fantastic year, 61 winners. Paul Town on 60, Davy Russell on 56, and I just think Davy should be favoured. At the moment, he's 11-8. I think that's a great price.
You think he'll win again?
I think he'll win the Jockeys Championship again, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's 11-8 at the moment. What price do you think he should be?
I think he should be a touch of odds on. There's only 3 of them that have any chance because they're nearly 20 clear of everybody else. So I just think that he'll get a great book of rides. Paul will have to share with Ruby, obviously he's only on 20. Rachel will have to share with Jack and Davy, but I think Davy just will have more ammunition.
And that's a great bet as well, because you've got a runner in every race.
Yeah, you have an interest bet for the rest of the season. But if he doesn't get injured, I think Davy will win it.
Okay, so Davy
and if you saw him over the weekend, he rode Mrs. Lovett, Duke of Tay, Chief Justice, Delta Work, brilliant rides, and the ride he gave Wonderleish was fantastic. It was like watching Paul Carberry.
Yeah, no, he is brilliant, and especially in them handicaps, he's fantastic at being in the right place at the right time. And I certainly hope Davy Russell is in the right place at the right time on Delta Work in the RSA next March, because he is my 3rd selection in Up in the Ante for the 2019 Cheltenham Festival. I was pretty impressed with his performance in the Drimmore. To be able to beat Larichburg over 2.5 miles on good ground when he wants 3 miles on softer ground, I thought that was a hell of a performance, because as you know from back in Larichburg didn't do a whole lot wrong. No. And I thought Delta Work throughout the race travelled like the best horse in the race. I thought he jumped beautifully. He's quite economical over his fences. He obviously got the last all wrong, but he got into a bargain match with Barry on Larichburg coming down to the last, and it might have just impacted his mind coming up to the fence. I thought it was a hell of a performance. He was rated 152 over hurdles. That's a pretty high mark for a horse that jumps well. He's a previous Cheltenham Festival winner in the Pertemps final. He beat a good horse in Glenlow. It was a good Pertemps final last year. I think he could be better over fences than he was over hurdles, and obviously he reached a mark of 152 over hurdles, so that puts him very much in the RSA Chase candidacy. Is that the right phrase, Gavin?
Don't know. Candidacy.
Yeah,
there you go.
We'll go to spell check for that one, I think. But he is 7-1 with Redzone.bet for the RSA Chase. But of course, we've got our enhancement for our Upping the Ante viewers. And they obviously respect my opinion greatly because they're pushing it out 5 points to 12 to 1. 12 to 1 delta work for the RSA Chase. Gavin, that has to be value.
Yeah, no, it has to be value, yeah. He's done nothing wrong down Royal and again a Fairy House. He wears a hood every time that he's in his 10 or 11 starts, but he's totally genuine. He battled up the hill great at Cheltenham with the Pertemps, as you said. He's crying out for 3 miles. The RSA every year just turns into a dour stairs race, doesn't it? So it should suit him, yeah.
And I thought, you mightn't like to hear this, but I thought he won snug enough.
He did.
Sunday.
No excuse, he was the best horse.
Absolutely.
Davy finished with 1 iron, so.
He did indeed. So that's it for this week's show, folks. Don't forget to tune in next week because Gavin told me off air, and I can't tell you what it is, but he really wants to tip a horse this week, but he said he's going to save it till next week, and it's one of his strongest anti-post fancies of the entire year so far. So you've got to tune in next week to join Gavin Lynch and myself for another edition of Upping the Ante.